Ollie says something about his tummy problems. So I just related that back to Izzy's gassy problems, and it just makes me think that the entire Garcia household just smells like farts a lot. Hello again. I know it's been only a matter of hours since my last video, but I'm trying to catch up because episode 8, the mid-season finale, already came out. So here is Power Rangers Dino Fury episode 7 video. Let's go! I think episode 9 and on, I'm gonna be doing it in blocks because this is just a lot of videos to do every week. And I want to start incorporating more toy videos and stuff because I know that you guys like that stuff. Along with the other shows that I'm watching. I'm in season 2 of Mandalorian, I watched WandaVision, I'm in the, I call it Falcon and Bucky. I'm watching a bunch of shows. Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to do videos on that stuff. If yes, tell me. If no, definitely tell me. Don't forget to like this video so that other Power Rangers fans can see it. Let's go. So the categories I'm going to do the video in today are overall plot, Sibling Morph, Mecha Formation, Monster of the Week, things that made me laugh, and my overall opinion. It is Morphin' time. So, episode 7 is very much focused around Javi, and I think it's about time. I feel like Javi's kind of taken a back seat since him and Izzy were announced or introduced to us in the show, so I'm glad that we're focusing some time on him. And this leads me to the overall plot of the episode, which is about his semi-turbulent relationship with his father, the Warden. We all knew that Javi really wanted a Keytar and that he is a musician, and this episode he finally buys one, and it's around $900. And he gets some flack from his father. His father sees him, I guess, as a slacker. It's always difficult for parents to see their child go off and do things where they don't see a clear either vision or career or future for them in whatever they're pursuing. So when Javi's father realizes that he's spending even more money on musical instruments, he confronts him about all of the other ones that he's been trying to learn over the past few months, and it becomes an argument. Javi doesn't want his father to be disappointed in him. He wants him to be respected for the artist that he is. That's difficult. Any artist doesn't want their creativity to be stifled by anyone, especially someone that they love, someone that they would hope would believe in them. That's a tough thing. And I think I really relate to this storyline because I'm a musician, and I think it was a little jarring when my parents realized that I hadn't been to my first semester of college in a few months, and they got a call saying, hey, Robbie hasn't been to class in a few months. And when they confronted me about it, I was like, oh yeah, so I've been practicing with this band, and I'm gonna be touring with them for the whole foreseeable future. And then I ended up on the road for like 6 years. So Javi, I get it, man. It's tough. And it gets even worse when later in the episode, Izzy gets hurt, and then the Warden comes. It's like, oh, what happened? And then he's very disappointed in Javi because Javi didn't protect her the way that an older brother should. And now Javi's just like in a rut. So that's the overall plot. Watch the episode, obviously. I'm not gonna do an entire episode play-by-play. So now the next topic is Sibling Morph, and I was so stoked about this because they did it really well. I think that the way that the actors, acted it out, their poses, the way that they delivered their lines, great. They gave both Izzy and Javi close-up shots, which I really liked. I am definitely a fan of black and green in Power Rangers Dino Fury. I officially said it. So we've finally been introduced to the Stego Spike Zord, which is Javi's Zord. He finally found it. And at the end of the episode, they form the Dino Fury Megazord Spike Formation. This formation is pretty cool because of the attack it can do. It just shoots a multitude of spikes at the monster. So where are all the spikes coming from is my question. Like, do they just appear out of thin air? It is a cool Zord. I'm not a huge fan of the Zords in Real Soldier or Dino Fury. They really went after like the Lego looking thing. It's not my favorite thing, but it's definitely not my least favorite thing. So now the Monster of the Week, there was none, but I am so happy that they're finally putting some respect on Boomtower's name and character, because as I said in my last video, Tank Joe, who is the Super Sentai source material character for Boomtower, he is threatening. When he's on screen and when he shows up, you feel this like sunken, like, oh no, Tank Joe is here, and there's conflict. I feel like for the first few episodes that Boomtower was in, he was kind of treated like as a joke, really. So in this episode, he basically consumes the power of one of the Sporix, and that is the escalated conflict of this episode because he's super powerful against the Rangers. And I could be mistaken, I think he uses his sword a lot in the previous episodes. In this episode, he starts finally using his cannonballs. I mean, again, in Real Soldier, he was called Tank Joe. He's a tank. He's got a cannon in his chest. He used that a lot in this episode, and I'm very glad that he's seen as a threatening villain because they're raising the stakes now here. When your enemies evolve, you have to evolve. He also gets his revenge on Izzy. I mean, Izzy's kind of been teasing him for the past few episodes, and he finally really romped her in this so much that she was messed up after the fight. And that's when their father comes and sees that Izzy's hurt and blames Javi. So now, things that made me laugh, there are two things in particular in this episode that made me chuckle a little bit. And the first one to mention is at the end of the episode where the Rangers basically bought back the Keytar and they give it to Javi and he's playing it at Buzz Blast and everyone starts dancing. You see Zato in the background doing a, just doing a funny dance because he's an alien, he's not from Earth, he doesn't know any dance moves. I'd really love to ask Russell Curry what he was thinking, doing that scene, or if it felt silly, because that was really funny. Like, how you gonna do my man Zato like that? How embarrassing for Zato, but I'm sure he was having a good time. The second funny thing I wanted to point out is, after that happens, Jayborg starts dancing and she drills herself down into the ground and breaks a water main. Now, it's not the joke that made me laugh. What made me laugh is everyone's reaction to it. Jayborg has now compromised the structural integrity of the foundation of the building, and everyone just starts laughing. If I were Jane, who's the CEO, who's the boss of that company that works in that building, I'd be a little worried. Oh, there's one more thing that I thought was funny, and it has to do with the Garcias in general. In the beginning of the episode, Izzy says, well, if you can't find Javi, he's doing one of two things. He's either doing something with music or he's having tummy problems. And then that's addressed later when Javi shows up in their Dino-henge lair. And Ollie says something about his tummy problems. So I just related that back to Izzy's gassy problems. And it just makes me think that the entire Garcia household just smells like farts a lot. I wonder if the warden also has a gassy tummy problem type situation. So now, my overall opinion, and this is a big one. I think that this is honestly one of the better episodes, and I think the acting in it was done very well. Or I should say, the acting in it was on point. I really liked the way that Chance Perez delivered his lines throughout the episode when he was going through his internal conflict. It's not often that we see inner turmoil within a Ranger team, although I would love to see more of that because, I love the Vegeta type character, the Prince Zuko type character, the Rufio type character, both Dante Bosco actually, which is funny. I like the kind of anti-hero type person. I wish we would get more Black Condor from Jetman type characters, like people who don't want to be part of the team, but they end up being part of the team. But yeah, it's not often that we see inner turmoil or arguments internally in the Ranger team. And usually when we do, it doesn't really seem like the stakes are very high. It's usually done in kind of like a more cheesy, corny way, so probably to not upset the kids who are watching the episode. But I really felt like Javi was going through something in this episode. Like when they find his Zord and they're all excited and he says something about so where's the parade, I think he says. Like he's just being very kind of sarcastic and dismissive. And it's even like his facial expressions change a lot when he's playing the Javi that's going through what he's going through that day. I don't know what it was. I think it changed the mood, kind of, the tone of the entire episode, and it made it more real for me. Again, guys, I know it's a kids show. I know everyone always tells me, well, what are you gonna expect? Well, you know what? I think that Chance delivered in this episode. This was his episode, and I think he delivered, and I'm stoked about that. And I think that it's a testament to what can work, and I wish we would get more of. It actually reminded me of Banba, and if you're not familiar with Banba, he is the Super Sentai Real Soldier, Real Soul Black. I think he was channeling his inner Banba. Banba is the serious character on the team in Real Soldier, so serious and so stoic that he would sacrifice human life to meet their goals of destroying the monsters. He's that, he's that serious. And we also really got to see the relationship between Izzy and Javi as brother and sister. I mean, we've seen them with the team. We've seen them interacting in public. but the scene where they're sitting on the bench and, you know, they're kind of having a heart-to-heart, that doesn't happen a lot. We don't really get that type of stuff in Power Rangers. So I'm glad that they're touching upon realistic situations that mean a little bit more to people, if that makes sense. So Rangers, stay tuned for my episode mid-season finale video, which will be coming out hopefully sometime this week. I know a lot of you probably have some questions or want to talk about it or want to have a conversation. It will be up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Go follow me on the social media networks and everything. And that's it. May the power protect you.